Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome to episode 2 of the Ramadan lockdown series. If you haven't listened to episode 1, please make sure you do. But yeah, the group chat is back. As you can see, our first episode we're recording. So you're seeing my face, you're seeing our guest's face. And let me introduce our guest. We've got Waseem with us from Human Relief Foundation. Just quickly introduce yourself, my brother.
Assalamu alaikum, bro. First and foremost, thanks for inviting me to talk to you.
Thank you for coming on.
And secondly, Ramadan Mubarak to you and to everybody else that's watching this. And I don't know what you're gonna get out of me, but there's whatever I can give you. Let's go, bro.
So what we're gonna try to get out is fundraising and how to fundraise. Obviously, during the month of Ramadan, I've seen numerous campaigns. Alhamdulillah, I've seen people raise amazing amounts as well. And maybe some other people are looking at this and thinking, I want to get involved, but they don't know how to, or maybe they don't have the confidence to. So if we start with that, how did you get into fundraising?
Okay, well, let's put it like this. My previous job that I used to do, my actual background is from running nightclubs, believe it or not. That shocks a lot of people when I tell them this, my actual story. But the reason that I'm telling you that is because you can imagine coming from that scene into this one is a very scary process, and it might not sound like it, but you know, for somebody that's only lived that life, coming into this fundraising world, this charity world that then goes hand in hand with our religion as well, and so much, you know, that's involved within the religion, it was a really, really scary step. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because at first I didn't think that I'd be able to do it. And that's very important because people that are watching this might feel the same way. Do you know what I mean? But look, this is my point.
What was it, like a lack of confidence, or?
It wasn't a lack of confidence. It's just my life. Like, I was living this street life. I was in the nightclubs, and then the charity scene has all of these Islamic events, and it has nasheed artists, and it has quotes from the Quran and from the Hadith, and all of these sorts of things. And it was like a whole different world. Do you know what I mean? It comes as a package, and it's a whole different world. So for me, it was like, am I good enough? Let's be honest. This is what I was thinking. Firstly, am I good enough? Or secondly, can I even show my face in that scene? How would people respond to someone like me trying to fundraise? Do you know what I mean? So it was, that was the scary part, I'd say. It was more about, it's a totally different world that I'm about to step into. And the way that I stepped into it was a total accident, by the way, because of those reasons, I didn't want to do it. When the Syrian conflict started back in sort of 2011, 2012, 2013, this sort of time, I started getting phone calls from people, from charities in particular. And what they wanted from me was manpower, because okay, I didn't have no experience in fundraising. I couldn't do speeches or whatever, but I was a person that could make a phone call and get 50 guys together. So they were like, look, we need to fill containers. We need help in call centers. We do this and we do that. And, you know, all the wonderful things that charities do. And we need your help. We just need you to bring a whole bunch of guys through for the physical labor. Okay, no problem. Started helping out. And as a thank you, what this one charity did was they invited me to one of their charity dinners, you know, where they invite nasheed artists and speakers. And they put me on this table right at the front, you know what I mean? And it was just a way of saying, you know, thanks for your help. I thought it was really nice, you know, we eat together and stuff. There's entertainment. Now, this is where it all went wrong. The host and the fundraiser didn't turn up for the event.
Right.
So the head of the charity is standing at the front with a microphone in his hand, looking around, and he's just sweating, bro. And then he just locks eyes with me, And he comes over and gives me the microphone. And at this point, the event's ready to start. So the whole of the crowd is watching. And he comes over and he gives me the microphone and he says, "You got to do it." Me. He says, "You got to do it." And literally it happened like this. He says, "You've got to do it." And I says, "But I've got no experience." He goes, "Yeah, but you got a big mouth, haven't you? So go and use it." You know how to talk. Just go and do that. Bro, that event was, at the time, Gaza was being attacked, and the event was for Palestine. You can imagine the turnout. It was, every seat was taken. There's 1,000 eyes on me, and I get up, and I just went for it. And I was just myself.
I can imagine.
Because all I know how to be is myself. Alhamdulillah. And so I spoke from the heart, and whenever I do my thing, it comes with a bit of humor as well.
Yeah.
So people were laughing, but they were also getting the message that they were supposed to get. And then I did the fundraiser. I remember on the night, alhamdulillah, we raised about £110,000.
Wow.
Which for a charity dinner, if you've been to charity dinners, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. Other charities were in attendance, and I got about 5 job offers, bro, after doing this thing. And they were like, "You know what? You can talk. You know, people listen." And I says, "Nah, that's not my scene. That's not my thing." You know. And I went and I started doing something else. But then a few things happened in my life. I'll wrap this up. We'll get too long. A few things happened in my life. I made sincere dua, and I says, "Ya Allah, you know what? I've quit the club. I've quit everything. I've left it behind. What I'm destined to do, you know, to be a part of your plan. This is the time." Do you know what? And I think it was the most sincere dua I've ever made in my life. And my phone rang, and it was Human Relief Foundation, and they says, "Listen, do you want to reconsider?" And I took it as a sign, and I'm big on signs. You probably know I'm big on signs in your time with me. That was my sign. Alhamdulillah, 7 years later, here we are.
SubhanAllah. And what you mentioned is, alhamdulillah, I've had the pleasure to go on a deployment with yourself. We went out to Jordan, and that's where we first met. And alhamdulillah, inshallah, we'll know each other for a long time. And because your background and your journey is so amazing, inshallah, maybe after the Ramadan, we could do a full episode and we can talk at length, inshallah.
Let's do it whenever.
I'm down. So, someone's, gone over that barrier of, am I worthy enough? And they decide, you know what, let me fundraise. I've seen others do it. I want to do it too. How do you start off? Because I think, okay, you have to pick a cause, but the intention is surely first, right? And what is your intention when you go into fundraisers?
Intention is everything. What is intention? Intention is everything, bro. That's what intention is. And then, that fear that I had, that we spoke about, of coming into this scene. Yeah. What dealt with that fear was my intention. The intention was the cure. Because that same sincere dua that I was making, that same sincere intention that I had, where I've left a job that's making me so much money. When you're leaving that behind and you're coming into something on minimum wage, believe me, it's for the intention. There's nothing else involved in it. You're not getting anything from it. So because I wanted it, the change so bad, that really helped with my intention, and that became my only intention. So I guess I was lucky because I came into this with nothing but an intention. So there was nothing to corrupt my intention. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was strong. And
so I guess the reason why I asked this is because a lot of people might see fundraising as the in thing during Ramadan, right? Everyone's doing the fundraising. The popular people are doing the fundraising. If you have the intentions wrong, it could be seen as you're doing this to gain popularity or to gain people's admiration. So it's that thing. How do you protect yourself from that? Is kind of the question, because you've been part of fundraisers that have raised, alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik, millions, right? And you get praise, in abundance that is different to what we've seen on social media. How do you deal with that?
We've done nothing. You know, the milkman, when he delivers the milk in the morning, he doesn't stand there and celebrate. The
Mario
postman
Balotelli.
puts,
Yeah, but Mario
you know what I'm saying?
Balotelli was. Yeah.
What? Mario
Mario
Balotelli.
Balotelli. Someone said, why do you not celebrate when you score goals? And he said, literally, does a postman celebrate when he delivers post?
He must have heard one of my talks, bro. What can I say? But yeah, the milkman, the postman, it applies to whoever. Me, it actually came from one of my teachers early on. And he says to me that, look, when you're in this scene now, yeah, and look, this person doesn't celebrate when they do their job, and this other person doesn't celebrate when they do their job. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you're in the charity scene and you're getting all of these blessings or something. You're only doing your job. That's all that you're doing. You're not a savior. You're not Superman. Do you know what I mean? And it was really humbling to hear that. You need to hear stuff like that. So I'm so glad for that teacher as well, because this was right at the start. So I went into it with that intention. And I realized very, very quick that I'm just a part of Allah's mercy on earth. You know what I mean? We're an instrument of that. So it was an honor rather than a celebration or letting it corrupt I'm thankful to just still be a part of it. I'm thankful to spend another day in it, another week in it, another year in it, because this now has become my life. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And our reward working in the scene comes at the end of the week in the form of a paycheck. Let's not forget that. But volunteers like yourself and everybody else, like you said, in Ramadan, setting up pages and doing whatever that they're doing, you guys are doing it as a volunteer. You're doing it off your, you're doing it yourself. You're not getting anything else out of it apart from, the good deeds, I guess. And for us, the way to combat that is we're getting paid at the end of the week. We have to go even harder, because that's where our charity is. When we're just doing our job, it's our job. I have to then make extra sacrifices. I have to then do overtime, because that then becomes my charity. You see what I'm saying? So when you're in the scene, I believe that if you want this to count as good deeds and you want this to count as, sacrifice, then you not just have to do your job, but you have to go above and beyond as well. So that's my way of keeping myself humble. And when you keep yourself humble, then you're focused.
And one thing that I noticed, we're getting slightly sidetracked, but when we were in Jordan and when we were delivering food packs or money, you would say, we are delivering your right by Allah, and we're just
that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Like, how foolish would you have to be to firstly be given the blessing to do a job like this and to go into a situation like that, and like I said, to be a part of Allah's mercy. And then look, I'm a fundraiser. I'm not a millionaire that gives millions. I just collect millions. I take it from here and I give it over there. What's so special about that? There's nothing special about what we do. I'm a delivery guy. I do deliveries. It's the same as delivering a pizza. So the guy that delivers the pizzas, why is it any different to me collecting £1 million from here and giving it to someone who it actually belongs to? You know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with us. But in that process, you then learn that you get more out of it than
definitely
the right holder or beneficiary, whatever you want to say. That again is another topic. But I know and I see firsthand du'as and reactions and the du'as that people are making for me. And think about this. I am sure that I've reached out now to more than 1 million people. I've got 1 million people that make dua for me. I can say that I've got 1 million people that make dua for me. That's what I get out of it. So who's won? You've got food for a week, for a month. I've got 1 million people making dua for me. So I feel like I'm the beneficiary here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so we'll move on to a lot of people now are looking and deciding which charity or which cause to fundraise for. How would you guide someone and advise someone who's looking for something to raise for?
When people come to me and they want to do something like that, I always ask them what they're passionate about. What's their passion? And with some people it's orphans, with some people it's Syria, with some people it's Palestine, some people it's strictly Bangladesh, and some people it's strictly Pakistan, and some people just want to work in Africa. Everybody's different, and there's different things that attract different people. And then there's some things that, for example, somebody's family's been affected in a certain way. They want to do something for that type of cause or that type of disability or whatever. Go with that. Wherever your passion is, because then you're going to do it from your heart. Whatever your passion is, whatever it is that you can relate to, that's what I always ask people to go with. Even if it's not the main thing that we're pushing at the time, I'd rather you go and fundraise for what you're going to put your heart and soul into, rather than just what's given to you at the time. So find that, whatever it might be. And for some people, it's not humanitarian aid. It's probably mental health. It's probably to do with disability. It's probably, there's so many different sections and sectors, whichever one, there's so much good to be done, is what I'm trying to say. There is so many roads that we can take to Jannah, like somebody told me once. Pick whichever one you've got the love for, because that you're going to give your all in that one, and go for that.
And what I would say as well is it doesn't even have to be fundraising. I don't feel like people should be pressured into fundraising. If you've got a skill in something, that could be your fundraising. That could be you're making
Allah's
something for this.
Allah's blessed us all with different skills, bro. Absolutely. Some of us are just good at talking. Like what I told you earlier, I got into this whole thing because
gift of the gab.
I talk too much, and I do. It's the gift of the gab. But look, let's take this point again. What I mentioned earlier, at the club, I was a promoter as well. In terms of, you have to promote the night that you're putting on and the artists that are performing and stuff like this. I took the same gift that I've got and just applied it somewhere else. I applied it to do good. I applied it for the benefit of the ummah. And I've got friends that we used to rap together. We used to have a studio in someone's bedroom, and we used to go there and we used to make some terrible songs, bro, now that I think about it. But my friends that are really good at that, now they do spoken word. And through their spoken word, they're giving dawah to millions of people. Like, their videos get some crazy hits, but they didn't have to suppress their talent or whatever that they were blessed with in order to, please Allah or to take into Ramadan. They just switched it up, whatever it was. And that's how they apply that to the scene. Now, they don't fundraise like me, but they perform at the charity events. They put out videos and they put a charity link at the end of the video. And all of this, raises money. I've got a guy right now who cooks. So he does the cooking. I'll stand next to him, and through that we'll raise money. We even have makeup artists recently that I'll do a makeup masterclass, and women pay crazy amounts, by the way, to go to these makeup masterclasses. And what she did is she did it, and then she donated all the money. So look, she didn't fundraise. She didn't have to do a video. She didn't have to stand on stage. She just did what she does every single day. We had a 9-year-old girl who stood outside with cupcakes, selling them to people, because she just wanted to do something. So everybody can do something. Everybody's got a role to play. And sometimes it's like, I would love it right now. I'm in the office. I would love it if somebody just walked into this office and they said, I don't know how I can help, but I'm ready to help.
Exactly.
I'd find them something to do. I just wish more people did that. I think people hold back because they think, what have I got to offer? Or what can I do? Or it looks so complicated. Oh no, he can talk on a stage. Or he's got a following, so he can raise money. Or he knows this person, so he can bring him to perform. No, just come, just do whatever you can. Do you know what I mean? Allah's blessed us all with this different gift.
Inshallah, so many people can relate to that. Inshallah, inshallah. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to ask is how best can someone do an appeal or do a fundraiser? So they've made the page. How best can someone push that out, either through maybe a video or a tweet or a post? What's the format?
The number one thing, and this is not ever mentioned, and I don't know why it's never mentioned, and the people listening to this, you'll know whether you ever heard it or not, but research is the first thing. Like, it's all good picking a cause and having a great intention, but you need to research that topic. If you don't understand what's happening to people, how can you truly help them? If you don't understand what the need is, how do you know what to deliver? I've been in refugee camps, unfortunately, my bro, and people don't have food, but people are driving in with 1,000 mattresses. And then I'm in another part of the camp where people have got, loads of food, that when we were giving them food, they were saying to us, if you give me any more food, I'll have to sleep outside because my tent's full. But I don't have nothing for hygiene and I don't have clothes. So when needs assessments or when research isn't done, just having that good intention sometimes isn't good enough. Now that's crazy, because you'll hear other people say all that matters is the good intention. All that matters is the good intention. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit more than that. Do you know what I mean? So the right research and the right needs assessments would make the charity scene a lot better. So that's the first thing that people need to do. And then identify, that'll give you background on a cause. So if I'm going to fundraise now to you guys watching, I need to know what I'm talking about, but you have to also believe that I know what I'm talking about. How many times have you seen somebody fundraising and it feels like they're either reading from a script or they're saying the same thing that every other person says?
Yeah.
Or they don't really seem like they're too interested in what they're saying, or they don't seem like they fully understand it. Do you know what I mean? That's great. Like I said, the intention's great, but it takes a little bit more. Go and learn about what you're doing. Understand it first, please. And then, like in Jordan, I gave a really simple formula to you guys. That formula can be applied by anybody. So let's break this down, into 4 parts. The first one is in line with the research and the needs assessments we were talking about, and understanding of the need and the project and the people as well. So you got to get the background on the place. You've got to know what you're talking about. This is number one. So you can tell other people what you're talking about. Number 2 is address the problem. What is the problem? So it's not just, I'm doing water wells. Okay, why are you doing water wells? Why is there a need of water wells? What happens when people don't have water where you're doing your project? What happens when people do have water? How much does their life change? Do you know what I mean? And what do they go through? What struggles are they facing without the water? So you need to know the problem, and you need to tell people what the problem is. If you're doing a fundraiser and you're just telling people, hey, I'm raising money and I want you to donate towards these water wells, and then people don't donate. And then I've heard people turn around and say, people are stingy, man. People don't give no money, man. My friends didn't give it, or this person didn't give it, or that person didn't give it. Okay, maybe it's not their fault. Maybe you didn't present it in the right way. Maybe you don't sound believable. Do you know what I mean? And it's not always that. Sometimes it's very genuine, and maybe your friends are just stingy. That might just be the case. But the majority of the time, I've found that fundraising and the information that they're giving is just not good enough. So number 1, get that background information sorted, present that, tell people, what you're doing, where you're doing it, and why you're doing it there. Second, the problem. If you don't do the water wells, we'll just use water wells as an example, If you don't do the water, how does it affect people? Do people die? Do people get disease from drinking the dirty water? Tell us about the problem. If you don't tell people the problem, they don't know what you're asking for help with. You're just asking for money then. Yeah. So the problem and telling people about that is very important. Don't just assume you can ask for money. Number 3, Third one is make sure that when you're presenting this problem, that you also have the solution. So we've got background, we've got problem. Number 3, solution.
Solution, yeah.
What is the solution, and do you have the solution? Because there's no use fundraising if you don't have the solution. You can talk about water wells and whatnot, but if you don't have the solution, then people aren't going to donate. So you have to make very clear to people what the solution is. So by now, even in your head, you can hear this fundraising segment coming together. The guy's talking about the background. He's telling you about the area, the difficulties they go through, the problems when they don't have water, the dangers of going to get the water's really far. Women get taken advantage of in certain areas because the water's so far. People lose their lives from the disease that's in the water, the dirty water, contaminated, whatever it might be. Okay, but we've got the solution. We're doing water wells, and we're digging them so deep that it gets to the clean water, and it's so deep that the water well, it's not going to dry up anytime soon. It's a long-term solution. You're showing people that you do have the solution. In fact, if you don't have the solution, you shouldn't even be doing the fundraiser.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's number 3.
Then there's the final step, right?
And then the final step is the call to action. Go watch fundraising videos and look at how many of them miss this call to action. It's all good. You've done the background, you've done the problem, you've done the solution. Okay, what do you want from the person? What do you want them to do now? Do you want them to go online and donate? Do you want them to come into your office? Do you want them to pick up the phone and call you? What is your call to action? You've got to make that very, very, very clear. There's no use presenting all of this cause, but then not giving people a way that they can do something about it. And we have to make it easy for people. Do you know what I mean? So we often have sort of an online donation link, a phone number to call, a drop-off point for cash, a PayPal account, or whatever it is. We've got to make it easy for people as well. Now, these 4 things combined, it's literally that simple. If anybody wants to write that down: background, problem, solution, call to action. Now, the beautiful thing about this is if you remember that formula in your head, you can go onto a stage, or you can go onto a live stream, or you can go in front of an audience, and you just start talking, and you know in your speech you're going to cover everything. How many times has somebody wanted to fundraise, or you want to ask someone for donations, and you're like, and you don't exactly know what to say, and then you think, oh, I forgot to say this, I forgot to say that, I should have said this, I could have said that. When you've got a formula in your head and you're used to using it, you'll just naturally come out with it, because your head as a fundraiser will naturally, and you can use this on TV, you can use it on radio, on social media posts, on talking on stage, on live streams, whatever, because naturally you're then going, okay, background, problem, solution, call to action, and your appeal's done.
Yeah, and I have to say, since that Jordan deployment, any video that I've posted on social media to do with fundraising, I've used that layout. And even if you look back, you'd be able to spot it. So alhamdulillah, it's helped so much. It helped everyone on the deployment as well.
I'll tell you another quick thing, really quick.
Go on.
You got 30 seconds, 1 minute for me, yeah? I'll talk really fast. When we were younger, there used to be this Jamaican man who used to live on our road, and he was a musician, and he was able to just sit there and make up songs, bro. Like, he would freestyle, and he would write songs about anything. So we were kids, and we were like, how do you write songs? Like, even now, people, if I asked you to write a song, where would you start? And okay, you've got the first line, what's the second one? How would you keep going and going? This is what we couldn't understand. So he made us look at his house, and he says, describe this to me. And we sat there, and all of us gave very similar answers. We says, okay, it's got windows, it's got doors, it's got a roof, you've got some flowers in your garden. And it was very simple. And he says, look, you know this house, let me just talk about the windows for a second to you. He says, the windows, when it's cold, I close the window so it gets warm. And when it's warm, I open the window so to let the cool air in. When I look out the window, I can see who's outside, and people from outside, they can see in. And sometimes I have to clean these windows. And looking through these windows, I've got a memory of the first time that I saw this, and it reminds me of my kids and my family. And he broke down. He started talking, and he was just talking about windows. And he says that, look, this is how you write a song and you put a song together, is you don't talk about the obvious, but you take each individual thing and you start talking about that in detail. Like you can talk about the windows, you can talk about the doors, you can talk about just the house in general. Like we're not just talking about a house here, we're talking safety, security, family, your memories, luxury, you know, Eid, your birthdays, growing up, your childhood, your parents, your brother, your sister, your highs, your lows, the good times, the bad times, relatives, parties. Oh my God, how many things just from this house? But what were we saying? We were just saying, oh, it's got windows, it's got doors. So what I took from that, I know this is like, where is this going? But I applied that same thing to the charity scene. So when you are picking a topic, please don't go and just say, this is a food pack. People are hungry. We need to just give them the food pack. You can break this down in so many different ways. Oh, this is an orphan. He needs sponsoring. His parents have died. Okay, that would make some people donate. But let's talk about the safety of this orphan. Let's talk about, if this was your daughter, would you leave her outside on the street for one night without a roof on her head with all these strange men about in a refugee camp? You wouldn't. You could talk just on the angle of safety, and people would sponsor this orphan. If you mentioned nothing else, you could speak just about education, yeah? And people would sponsor this orphan because of that reason. You could speak about hunger, and people, there's so many different ways that you can take it. It's not just, here's an orphan, his parents have passed away, her parents have passed away, sponsor. No, as a fundraiser, you need to always have something different. Or how do you do it day in, day out, year in, year out, and compete with what everybody else is saying as well? Find something different, take a different approach, think about that house, break it down, windows, the doors, or whether it's food, water, safety, security, take a different angle, make your appeal different, say things that other people aren't talking about, use something else that stands out. There's so many different things.
And you know what, if
take one of them.
People are so creative, if they did spend some time thinking about it, you can imagine the ideas and what people would come out with that will drive those donations, inshallah.
There's so many. Don't limit yourself, guys. Use those two examples, if anything, the 4-point formula and the house.
So alhamdulillah, we've spoken about how best to do an appeal and fundraise, you know, using the 4 points, and the what did you mention after it was the 4 points and
the house.
Yes.
Well, I need a name for that formula. Yeah, well, I just call it the house.
4 points in the house. The reason why I forgot is because we've taken a slight break. It's not that I've got bad memory. Okay. So you've got your page, you've done your appeal, it's raising money, alhamdulillah. What I've noticed, and I think it would be really good to speak about, is comparing yourself to other people that are doing their fundraisers. So I've seen people even get down because they've raised £100, whereas someone has raised £1,000. They've raised £500, whereas someone has raised £10,000. And you know, they're thinking less of themselves, and they're thinking, if only. How do we get rid of that thought? How do we control that? Have you ever been in that situation as well? That would be a good question.
Believe me or not, I've never been in that situation.
Wow.
I genuinely do not care, and so sometimes people think that I just don't care enough, and I should care a bit more about it. But I genuinely do not care, and I don't mean this in a bad way, like, oh, I don't care what you're doing, only what I do matters. I don't mean it like that. I mean, like, we're all working for the same cause here. Do you know what I mean? And when somebody else does well, I genuinely get happy. It's like, you smashed it, bro. Like, you're feeding like 1,000 people there. All right, cool. You know what? This is motivation, if anything. But, you know, again, I'm going to have to give you an example, man. I was a young kid. I was in Pakistan. We were on this horse and carriage thing, yeah? And we were going to the city center to do our shopping. But the horse had this thing on its eyes, bro. Have you ever seen it? Where it's covered like this? Have you not? Have a look at...
What, goggles?
not goggles, but if you go on even on YouTube or something, what you'll see with horses that are like pulling carriages and stuff like this is they have this thing that covers their eyes like this.
That tunnel vision.
Yeah. So like you, I was like, what goggles? Like why has that horse got that? Now it's because these horses that are pulling the carriage, and it was like a rickshaw, what I mean, back in them days. They're on this road with bikes and with cars and whatnot. And if you put a horse on that road and it can see them, it's going to get scared. It's not going to go in a straight line. It's going to crash this way. It's going to crash that way. You might even turn around and go the other way. So when its eyes are covered like this, it can only see what's straight forward. It's not distracted by anything. So there can be motorbikes, there can be Lamborghinis and Ferraris that are faster than this horse. There can be Jeeps that are bigger than this horse, and there can be cars that are, more horsepower than the horse. I run out of examples. But the horse doesn't care, because the horse has a job to do, and the horse isn't looking at what you're doing, and it isn't looking at what you're doing. It's looking straight ahead, and it's giving everything to just what it's doing, and there's no distractions. We need to take the example of the horse there, as funny as it sounds. But take the example of the horse, man. When it comes down to this and you want to concentrate, if you're finding it hard to, firstly, if it's making you feel some sort of way, then okay, you want to sort of think about why you're doing it. Do you know what I mean? Actually sit there and think about why you're doing it. And if you see somebody that's doing well or doing better than you, if you think raising more money than someone means doing better than you, then make dua for that person. Yeah. But the main thing is intention, man. Like
it falls back to that, doesn't it?
Giving, £10 with the right intention, or raising £10 with the right intention, is worth so much more than raising £1,000 with the wrong intention. And yeah, we can't see it right now, but I guess that comes down to a matter of faith. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, concentrate on what you're doing. Look straight forward. Be like a horse.
Yeah. For me, I see it as, it's not a competition, but it spurs me on. So if I see
Motivation.
people raising a lot of money, I know I can do that, or I can try to do that as well.
You know that it's possible.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can try to do that as well, and I'm happy for them, of course. But obviously, some people will have a bigger platform, or able to raise a bigger amount, just because of maybe who they are, the following that they have, the people around them. And that's, I don't think that's anything to be upset about. It's just, I find it upsetting when I see people get upset. That makes sense. But yeah,
they might be raising two times more than you, or 5 times more than you, but their following and their network is 10 times bigger than yours. Do you know what I mean? And look, Allah has not asked us to save the world, or to be Superman, or to raise £1 million, or to break records. All Allah's asked from us is just share your blessings. Do you know what I mean? And like we spoke about earlier, we're all blessed in different ways. Are you using whatever you're blessed with to benefit the ummah? And as long as you can say that you are, and you're giving it your all, that's all that matters. The one line that I always say to people is, in this charity scene, you have to give more than money. You have to give your heart. That's when the difference is made. So it doesn't matter how much a person raised or how much they gave. How much of their heart did they give? And how much of your heart did you give? That's what you should be measuring. And that one there, you should feel some way about it. With the money,
definitely.
Don't feel no way about that. They raise more and you raise less. Okay, fine. But if they're giving 100% of their heart, and you're giving 20% of yours, then you need to check yourself. You need to look in the mirror. Yeah. So that's what we should be working on.
Very, very good point. That's what we should be comparing. Our intentions, and how much effort we're willing to put in for our causes, inshallah. So yeah, I think that's I wanted to talk about as well. Oh no, actually, this is a good point. A lot of us now, again, because we're raising money during Ramadan, we might get bogged down with constantly looking at how much we've raised, right? Not forget comparing now. We just keep looking like it's like a game, you know, notifications and oh, you know how like some people show off with their Snapchat, they've got 15 notifications. We want to just keep seeing more donations, right? How, is that healthy, first of all?
I think it comes down to the individual, because I've caught myself doing that, but I'm obsessed with what I do. That's the thing. When you're obsessed with what you do, you are going to do stuff like that. Like for me, it's my everything. It's my life. Other people are constantly checking the football score. My friends, when I'm around them, even when the team's not playing, they're checking something. This guy did this in training. This guy ate this today. This guy was on this show. This guy wears this shoe all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what they're obsessed with. Me, I'm obsessed with seeing people's reactions when we change their life. Like, I'm obsessed with that. I'm literally obsessed with changing people's life. Like, I'm addicted to it. Once you get that feeling of going somewhere and transforming a life, transforming a family, then transforming a village, a community, an entire area, bro, it becomes obsessive, man. You get addicted to it, yeah? And someone like me, I catch myself doing that. But I think I do it in a healthy way. I think I do it as in, you know, okay, yeah, I've done that. I'm motivating myself. Yeah, I need to keep going. I need to go. It's on my mind all the time. But like everything else in life, you have to give yourself a break. The thing about this charity scene is so many people come into it as staff or as a volunteer, and they go hard for a year, bro, and then you don't see them again. People will be able, like, just think of people that you know, you'll see these examples, or it'll be one project, it'll be one cause, it'll be one Ramadan, it'll be one summer, and they burn themselves out, bro. They go all out with something and they stress over it and they keep looking and they're comparing and they're doing that and they put themselves off. This thing is about longevity. It's about longevity. You've got to pace yourself. If you saw, and I'm talking to people that are watching this, if you saw what I've seen and you heard what I've heard, and you've been in the situations that I'm in, you'd find it hard to sleep at night. I promise you. You'd find it hard to eat. You'd find it hard to sometimes even smile. You'll start to feel guilty about being happy, because there is so much pain and suffering in the world that we're sheltered from, that we just don't even know about. And you don't even have to go to the other side of the world. Just in London, what people are going through, poverty or different situations that people are in, struggles and difficulties, just that alone, if you could see it, it would blow your mind, let alone the atrocities that are happening in Syria, in Palestine, in Kashmir, in Iraq. If you went to these places and you saw what actually happens, there's no fundraiser, there's no news channel, there's no newspaper, there's no YouTube video that can show you exactly the truth. That feeling there, it's sometimes too much to handle. And if you don't prepare yourself and know that to make a difference, you've got to do this, not just one off, not just jump straight into the deep end and then drown. Nah, man, you've got to learn to crawl before you can walk, and walk before you can run, and run before you can fly. And you've got to take it easy. That's another thing, another tip that I have to give, man. Don't get too lost in it. In the comparing, or even the thing that I do where you keep looking at what the page is on or what you've raised and whatnot. I, alhamdulillah, feel like I'm able to do it. And that's for certain reasons. But I'm a professional in this field. Remember, this is a big difference as well. I've got training I've got people that I speak to, and we have ways of dealing with things that we've seen and heard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to pace yourself, man. You've got to take it easy. If you're really going to make a difference, don't just come in, burn yourself out, get put off, and then never ever come back again. No, man, just take it easy and just look. No one can save everyone, but everyone can help someone. And as long as you're doing that, don't go and try and do too much. Just play your part. And like I said, give your heart. And as long as you're giving your heart and not overdoing it, you should be able to do this for a longer time. And if you're doing it for a longer time, for the rest of your life, and you work and you give your zakat, just think about how much that totals up to over a lifetime. You're doing your bit, and that's what's expected from us. At the end of the day, Allah's the sustainer. It's nothing special we're doing. Like, if He wanted to feed everybody today, that would happen like this. It's really, really that simple. That's not us. Remember that this is just our test. Remind yourself, this is just our test. We had recently a distribution. It might have been when you were there, actually, on that deployment.
I know what you're gonna say.
We asked
we
one of the brothers,
Yeah.
why do you feel like you're in the situation that you're in? And he says, because Allah wants to see what you're gonna do about it. Subhanallah. What a it really hit home with everybody, didn't it?
Yeah. There was that, as well as, you know, that is so powerful. But a lot of people said, you know, alhamdulillah, the people in Jordan, the Syrian refugees, they said, alhamdulillah, we know our test. Do you know yours?
Do you know yours?
Subhanallah. You know, it's crazy. But I guess your advice there about not burning out, making sure we're doing our bit without going so far that we lose ourselves. You know, we've still got families, we've still got a life here to protect. I know the actual question was just scrolling and looking at the numbers too long, but things can escalate. May Allah protect us, inshallah.
Amen.
So that's all the questions that I want to go through. You know, I guess, you know, may Allah reward all the people that are doing fundraising during the month of Ramadan. May Allah allow us to continue even after Ramadan to have that charitable arm in our lives. But speaking on charity, I am raising money to build a mosque in Ghana, and it is with Human Relief Foundation. And
that makes me happy, bro. That makes me so happy just hearing that, because Ghana's my favorite country in the whole world.
No way.
And I've been everywhere, you know, previous to my charity work, and just on the side, like, my passion is traveling.
Yeah.
I've literally been all around the world. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, I'm blessed to be able to do that. But Ghana is my favorite country in the entire world. And it's because of the people there. I've fallen in love with them. Like, it's so free of propaganda and of the stress and of the expectations and of what here we feel like the standards are, or what we think it's cool, or this Instagram life and all of that is so free of all of that. And I go there and I'm so much at peace, and I'm with happy people, and we have such a great time together, and they give me so much love. And it's just my favorite place to be. I think it's the most religious country that I've been to as well.
Wow.
People find that shocking, but the Muslims are very Muslim, because they're going out their way to stay Muslim, bro. Like, they're hanging on to their deen because of certain things that are happening, where certain groups are going out and offering them sort of things to change their religion. This is a separate topic, but it's my favorite country, and I know the need there. I've gone to places where people are praying, crying, wishing, and dreaming for a masjid. And I'm not saying this because you're doing it. I'm not gassing you up, bro. This is, I've sat with these people and their dream in life. Like, ask me, I'm going to tell you that I want a Lamborghini, or I want a big house with a swimming pool or something. Like, for me, that's the thing. I swear I've asked people there what you want, and they say it with so much excitement. Oh, a masjid. Like, imagine we had a masjid in our village. Because there just ain't anything off the sort. Do you know what I mean? And for them, they love Islam, bro. They love their religion. They love their deen. And when they see someone, a sinner like me, you should see their reaction. I went to a village, and the entire village, 200 to 300 people came out on the streets, and they started crying. And I'm looking around like, what did I do wrong, or what is it? Why are people crying, bro? They came up to me. They started to kiss my hands. I felt so ashamed and embarrassed when I found out the reason why. They were telling me, we've learned about Islam, we've learned about descriptions of prophets and about Sahaba, and I was wearing a white thobe. I've got long hair, if you can't already see. My hair's open and I've got a beard. What does that look like? It looks like the stories that they've been told. And the first time that they had seen a Middle Eastern looking person with long hair, with a beard, in a white thobe, it broke them, bro. Because these are the stories that they grew up on, and this is the first time that they'd seen something like that. They were asking me if I'm from the Prophet's family. They're saying, because you look like this, you are what we've imagined. Look how much they love their religion, bro. And this one particular man, very old, he didn't let go of my hands. And you know, when he obviously have to get it translated what they're saying, but he was saying to me, and this is from an old man, bro. He's saying to me, I wish my dad and my granddad got to meet you. I wish my dad and my granddad got to meet you. Because to him, it was like almost a blessing. He don't know what man's really like or who he's about. I'm from Birmingham, but he's thinking that this is this it's a symbol of his religion. You understand? So something like a masjid, bro, over there where there isn't one, the village were putting their money together, giving it to one person, and he would leave the village to go to the city to get an Islamic education, come back and then have to teach the rest of the village. And they'd all contribute towards this. This is what it meant to them. And like I mentioned before, there's a whole bunch of people out there, bro, that spend 2-3 years. They get sent there from different countries. They spend 2 or 3 years there. This is how dedicated they are. And they go from village to village and they offer them things to sell their religion, to denounce Islam. They offer them food, they offer them clean water, they offer them education, they offer them all of these things to let go of the Islam, and the people don't want to let go. This is why it's important that me and you go there. This is why we have to take the masjids there. Because if we don't take the masjids there, somebody else is taking something else there, bro. If things carry on right now, look, go and like I said, research this. If things carry on the way that they are in that country, and I can't remember the exact figures, so I don't want to quote it, but there's X amount of years that I read, and I'm sure it was under 50 years. If things continue the way that they are, there'll be no Muslims there. This is why it's so important, education. And by education, I mean the schools and the masjids, bro. You are not just donating towards a mosque where somebody can go and pray 5 times a day. You're donating to the future of Islam in that country. And this is not a fundraising speech. I'm not trying to give you that one line like, whoa, that's deep, bro. I swear this is the honest truth. This is reality. This is what's happening. You are not just donating to a piece of cloth that somebody's going to bow down on. That's not what's happening. People are trying to hold on to their deen. This is what you're giving them. You're also saying to them that we're with you. Here's hope. Okay, here we're the ummah. Okay, here's brotherhood. We've got this blessing of being able to walk into a mosque on every street corner, bro, where I'm from, or even where you're from. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't have that. It's down to us to make that difference.
SubhanAllah.
You know what else comes with the masjid, by the way? Water comes with the masjid. And the villages where we're building, yeah, obviously, come on.
What? I didn't know that.
You got to go there. You got to make wudu. Now,
of course.
It doubles up as a center for people to come and collect water as well. You're not just putting a masjid in a village, you're putting the water source into that village as well.
Need to change my video now, inshallah. But inshallah, we can raise this amount, and we can go out to Ghana, to Tamale, and
Inshallah.
see the finished product, see the masajid, and speak to the people, and show you guys where your donation is going. I think that's one of the most important thing about the charity sector is, all these people donating during the month of Ramadan. It is a duty to the charities as well as the people that's collecting the money. Where is that money going? And they need to show that. So inshallah, we will be able to do that. So yeah,
it's gonna change your life. The experience
inshallah.
of opening the masjid and you seeing the people's reaction to it. I've done a few of these, and it's emotional as anything, and I think it just change you as a person.
Inshallah. So I'm thinking, it might take me maybe a year to raise the amount. So
no problem.
Inshallah,
whatever it takes,
get that done.
It's such a worthy cause, bro, and it stays there. That masjid stays there, and it goes
generations,
on and on.
Yeah.
When it comes to giving charity, like people give it to reap the rewards. What better reward is there, bro? Sadaqah jariyah. You're not just giving people water. Go just look into the rewards of giving people water. Then go into education. Then look at the rewards of building a masjid. There's so many of these things that come together. It's such an amazing project. I want to give you one other piece of advice, for fundraising. When's the best time of year that charities fundraise?
Ramadan.
Okay, Ramadan. Yeah. So why do people get more poor in Ramadan?
Why do people get more poor during Ramadan?
Yeah, why do people get more poor in Ramadan? Because people are giving more money. So is it because people have become poorer?
Wait. What is your question? Is your question the regular
people give the most money in Ramadan? Loads of people give money.
Yes.
Are they giving that money because in the month of Ramadan, people become more poor or more needy? So why are they doing it?
The month of Ramadan is a month, we're getting closer to our deen, closer to Allah, and a way of getting closer to Allah is by giving sadaqah, is by giving your zakat, and that's why people are donating way more.
Exactly that, donating way more, because why? They're doing it for themselves. So when it comes to fundraising, why do people always concentrate on they're needy, they're hungry, they're poor, they're starving? Open up a whole new sector of fundraising and tell people why they should donate because of what they need. You need this. It's not always about presenting that cause over there. What about this cause over here? This is a cause.
Subhanallah.
I am a cause. Why are we limiting ourselves to that? There's 3 reasons, that you can push this through. Okay, the people over there on that side, yourself. Why do you need it? And then thirdly, purely for the sake of Allah, ask yourself this question, people. When's the last time that you did something purely for the sake of Allah? Not because you felt sorry for someone and not because there was a need for you. But the third one, which is purely for the sake of Allah. The Sahaba, they didn't have the fundraiser telling them to go and do something, or the YouTube video telling them to go and do something. And they didn't do it for the fame or for the clout. Why did they do it? They did it for that third reason, which is purely for the sake of Allah. So let's not miss out on these. When it comes to fundraising, stop always talking about that poor person, that needy person. Remember that you are also that poor person and that needy person. Remind people of that. And now you've got 2 reasons to give. So the first time they donated to you, if they did it because of the poor person, the second time they donate to you, get them to donate because they need it. They need it. This is how you can expand on fundraising, by helping people to look. You're not conning them. You're bringing them to a realization. Like there's definitely going to be at least one person that now watches this video and says, you know what, I never thought of that. It's a whole new world. A whole new world.
Right. So that is, I think we've gone almost an hour. Inshallah, people can listen to all of this because it is so beneficial. Inshallah.
I'll come with you.
Yeah. So
that is
Yeah, I'm off to drop some food. So yeah, inshallah, that is the end of the episode. Please let us know if you enjoy it. Make sure you follow and subscribe to all of our channels. And do you want to shout out anything, Waseem?
I want to say the topics that we spoke about, bro, I didn't do them justice. The fundraising and everything because of our time limit. So there's so much more to talk about. So we should do it again sometime.
Inshallah.
And go into a bit more detail with things.
I'd love it. I'd love it. Inshallah.
All right,
and hopefully face to face as well.
Yes, definitely.
Inshallah.
100%. Look forward to it.
All right, guys. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Waseem.
Alaikum salam, rahmatullah.
Take care, bro.